Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of The Gavel, featuring attorney Ana Toledo. Ms. Toledo is the senior attorney and general counsel to Targeted Justice. She has a background in constitutional and environmental law and is an experienced litigator, including 2 cases at the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's Ms. Toledo.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 58 of The Gavel, a podcast dedicated to delivering the latest news and critical updates to the global community of victims of government weaponization, alongside important developments in my mission to achieve freedom from modern-day slavery here in Washington, D.C. Today is Friday, June 26, 2026, and this podcast constitutes a historic record of the fight of our empowered community to shut down the criminal and illegal unacknowledged special access program that weaponized the government, experiments on humans, and tortures them. I'm your host, Ana Toledo, a Puerto Rican attorney with over 30 years of litigating experience specializing in First Amendment, civil rights, and environmental law. As you know, I relocated to Washington, D.C. to expose and combat government weaponization and lawfare. So today, you all know I have been warning you that the truth avalanche is unstoppable, and we are accomplishing our goal that I have told you from the get-go. Once the program is no longer covert, it cannot operate. The only reason it could operate is because of the plausible deniability and saying that people were crazy. This is coming to an end, and you're seeing it in real time. So we're going to continue fighting for justice for all and for vindication to all of you that have been called crazy and that have been victims of lawfare, just like I have. And the light is overpowering the darkness. So buckle up for this week's developments that most of you know about them. Please share this transmission, like and subscribe. It's the only, costs you nothing, and it's the one way we can fight back the censorship and shadow banning. And today I'm just going to invoke, I like to speak about the light turning off the darkness, but I'm going to start because we need to invoke, Holy Father, just place yourself over this little space here for this community, because, the criminals, if only you could know how many hurdles I have to go through in order to come before you. Just today, they just completely turned off the sound in one laptop, so it was harder for me, but it doesn't matter. I am here, and the best part is that nothing they do is going to stop me. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So I just wanted to read from Matthew 10:26 that says, "So do not be afraid of them, for there is nothing concealed that it will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known." It's biblical. It's happening. We are shining the light on everything that has been hidden for too long. And I have to give you all credit, because you have been very active, particularly my digital warriors or volunteers at Targeted Justice that have been relentless and have never given up, and they continue the fight. And so each one of you has to take credit for this amazing turn of in history. We are at the turning point. Anyway, so before we go any further, I'm going to share with you this week's Targeted Justice newsletter. For those of you that didn't get to read it, that you shouldn't miss it. You should subscribe. It's free. You should subscribe because remember one thing, at Targeted Justice, we do not publish anything unless it's verified by science or by formal records. So it is your best source of reliable information. You know, many people like to just repeat whatever they hear from around, and that's not good because that takes away from your credibility. So let me just play this for you because there are tons of good news to talk about. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Yeah, remember, let me just write it before I forget, that we're going to have the meeting on July. For those of you, you have no excuse. On July 11th, we're going to have the meeting. And so here we go.
So excited to see each and every one of you here today. Strong, brave, ones who are willing and ready to fight back and end our relentless torture.
The Targeted is a world premiere play by Hannah Keim, directed by Grace Dolezal-Ling, and produced by a Red Orchid Theatrite, the Chopin Theater. The Targeted was supposed to end on the 14th of June but was extended to 21st. This is confirmed directly on the Red Orchid Theater website, the Chopin Theater site, Broadway World, and official social media posts from the company and theater. Reviews have been mixed to positive, with praise for the cast and concept, which likely contributed to the extension.
Everyone is being tracked by satellites. This is a federal crime and a serious constitutional violation. Everyone is being illegally tracked by Lockheed and Boeing GPS satellites. Your precise GPS location is known by the U.S. Space Force, C-1A, and NSA, 24 hours every day. The coordinates are accurate to half an inch. The tracking signal uses 3200 to 3750 megahertz, and many people can feel the microwave pulse using your hand or forearm over the top back part of your head. You can purchase a modified analog Gauss meter from TargetSourceLLC.com, which is a device that can prove you are being tracked. For more information and troubleshooting notes on the Gauss meter, go to the following link.
More good news on FISA 702. For the targeted community, this likely means it will be difficult to pass FISA renewal. Targeted Justice has repeatedly claimed that FISA is used for illegal gang stalking, break-ins, and FBI sneak and peek warrants. President Donald Trump has stated that he will not support an extension of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act unless it includes his election integrity measure, the Save America Act.
Finally got it in my hands. Targeted Justice is the brand. Brought a shirt that came last night. Put it on and it feels just right. I went out word of mouth. My shirt, the topic, raising the awareness. I won't stop it. Once I merged for your space, then we know the right place. TJ Store, got shirts, cups, mugs, and hats. TJ Store, online is where it's at. TJ Store, it's for men and women and even kids. TJ Store, check it out. You'll be glad you did. TJ Store, got shirts.
calling all digital warriors. Please like, share, and repost this video on all social media. We're still looking for volunteers. What's your skill set? Let us know how you can help by emailing us at tjustice2@proton.me and put volunteer in the subject line. Are you looking for more targeted justice content? Go to Rumble, and that is where our channel is located. We have t-shirts, cups, merchandise, and more at our online store by following these links. You can either buy a gift or get something for yourself. We are a non-profit organization. Please consider donating online or sending us a check. All donations are tax deductible. Thank you again for watching this video. God bless. God bless. God bless.
I am in so much awe of Sean because I have seen how he has become, like, he's so talented, but yet he has become so much better. Thank you, Sean, because your work is so priceless. And you should know that I'm going to be uploading probably tomorrow the additional translations to the Dominic's Halping's documentary Dystopia for you to please share far and wide. And so let's just go for this week's so much. Everybody has been waiting for the MK Ultra hearings. A year ago, when we first came Targeted Justice, we came in May of 2025 here. We never imagined that this would be happening. Okay. And a year and a month later, it's just confirmation that all you have to do is be relentless and never stop and continue being, just insisting and showing up every day, just showing up and doing the same thing, fighting peacefully for freedom. So 3 days ago on June 23rd, which is a little weird because Representative Luna announced these hearings with, less than 1 week of anticipation, which is a little weird. But she, one of the things, and I know there's a lot of people that are worried about how transparent this is going to be and if it's going to be worthwhile, but hear me out here, okay? She says that the intelligence community has covered up the nature and classification of the MK Ultra experiments for decades. And during the hearing, members will examine the history and timeline of the Central Intelligence Agency MK Ultra project and its original classification. This is important, its original classification, because one of the things that we need to demand from Congress or from the president is to eliminate these illegal classification levels that are the ones that don't permit even the president that has a security clearance level 17 to know about this program, which is a security clearance 35. And even though you say, he knows about it, well, he might know a few things, but he doesn't know the workings, how it operates, the nitty-gritty of it. So she also said members will also analyze the intelligence community's unwillingness to declassify information, which I'm going to talk about right now, related to MK Ultra, and how this is what is worrisome about her, and how the lack of transparency has reduced Americans' trust in government institutions. Of course, but you're not going to cure that, because you need to shut down the FBI and shut down the CIA and make them again in order for people, and then see if they're not going to be acting just like these criminal terrorist organizations have been acting for decades. And then the people will start trusting them again. But that's, anyway, she's continued saying Americans have been misdirected repeatedly and deserve transparency and accountability from the CIA. The intel community's unwillingness to deliver the truth has fueled, and this is dangerous language by her, dangerous conspiracy theories and eroded public trust in the federal government. Yeah, well, what she doesn't know is that the federal government is torturing law-abiding and even non-law-abiding, because torture is prohibited. Even people that are in prison, that committed a crime, they should not be subjected to torture because the Eighth Amendment prohibits cruel and unusual punishment. So aside from that, we have that there's two witnesses that have been in this first. I firmly believe that this is going to be a first of many. And one of them is Stephen Kinzer, a former New York Times journalist and investigative journalist, Tom O'Neill, author of the book Chaos, Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s. Supposedly, these people are going to bring in a historical context of the MK Ultra. Stephen Kinzer, he's a veteran journalist with decades of experience covering U.S. foreign policy and intelligence operations. See, many people, and I'm the first one that thinks we're not going to tolerate gaslighting here. You're not going to come, have these two witnesses talk about how MK Ultra operated, and then, okay, bye, everybody go home. No, that's why every single one of you that can make it to Congress next Tuesday, right? It's gonna be, I have it here, it's on the Tuesday, June 30th, 2026 at 10 a.m. Every single one of you, I'm not saying all of you will fit in the room, but we need to show up. Every single one of you needs to show up. Anyways, let me just finish with Mr. Here, the first one, Kinzer. He is a regular columnist for the Boston Globe. He's a senior fellow at the Watson Institute for International and Public Affairs at Brown University, which could completely woke, and I don't trust. I mean, this is the university that 39% of their students had problems with gender identity. It's the subliminal messaging going on in there is off the charts. But he's author of multiple well-regarded books, and he's supposedly serious established reporter. He might testify about his 2019 book, Poisoner in Chief, that about Sidney Gottlieb and the CIA's search for mind control it's considered one of the best modern accounts of MK Ultra. So he seems to be an authority on the topic of the historic. He would probably testify about Sidney Gottlieb, who is the chemist that ran MK Ultra. May he rot in hell. And the program's brutal experiments about LSD dosing, sensory deprivation, torture techniques, destruction of records, and the CIA brothers' efforts to develop mind control and assassination. Then the other witness is Tom O'Neill. He's an investigative journalist and author. He spends over 20 years researching for his 2019 book, Chaos, Charles Manson, the CIA, and the Secret History of the 60s. He's highly regarded in investigative circles for original research. His book is praised for challenging the official Manson narrative. And the important thing about him is that he might bring in broader questions about whether MK Ultra style research continued. Okay, so they both are very intellectual, very hardworking, very respected journalists. However, as you know, we wanted to make sure that it was victims like Kathy O'Brien and like Dr. Juliet Engel, who appeared there because they have first-hand information of how this worked. Now, I am putting in the chat the link. It's going to be, obviously, C-SPAN is going to cover it on Tuesday, June 30th, starting at 10 a.m. in the Ray 2154 Rayburn House office buildings. For those of you in the DMV area, and even in states close by, I am really hoping and expecting you to show up. And the building opens at 8 a.m. My practice is that I am there at 7:45, making the line to go in. because this kind of hearing is going to be very full. And if you get there at 9:30, I mean, maybe you get there 9:30 and you get in. But I have done it before that it only happened to me once. It only had to happen to me once. I got there 9:30 for the Kristi Noem hearing, and I almost couldn't get in. So, and after, if I'm expecting you to dedicate the full day, because I am going to bring with me, let me show you the flyers. We're going to bring flyers, and let me see where I have them here. We're going to bring the new flyer, Attention Congress. And I need some of you to help me distribute them. I'm going to have the list of the representatives that voted in favor of renewing FISA. And that's the first list that we're going to distribute. And then we will distribute to the ones that voted against it. So I need a lot of you to show up. As I mentioned right in the beginning, this month, I'm going to hold the second Saturday meeting on July 11th. Please be on the lookout for that announcement. Okay. Dominic Halping is coming from Great Britain to cover this event. This is huge. You're going to say, it's two journalists, they're not victims. No, we're not going to let this stop here. This is the beginning. When they see all the victims, there's going to be journalists there. You're going to go up and very respectfully and kind and very nicely and quietly, not screaming. You're going to say, I am a victim too. And we are, if their plan was to gaslight us and say, okay, it stopped. No, it's not going to work. We're not going to, that is why you're going to be all analog there. Okay. Aside from the fact that they have received hundreds of emails and they cannot just, sweep it under the rug. I am absolutely certain of that. So Dominic is going to be here, and he's going to capture it all. And he's going to be documenting history. And I certainly hope that all of you that can make it, do make it here. Anyways, speaking of MK Ultra, it seems that Mr. Palti, that substituted Tulsi at ODNI, he seems to be covering up for the criminals. Remember, we're happy that he came in, because thanks to him coming in, and that Adam Schiff and a lot of Democrats hated him for his work at the Department of Housing, well, they completely, totally voted against FISA 702. That is a corpse that I think nobody can revive, and I'm going to talk about that in a little while. But anyway, so the new ODNI director, Palti, is withholding the MK Ultra files that Tulsi promised us to declassify, but she failed to deliver. The future of the long-awaited disclosure of the files related to the CIA's MK Ultra mind control program remains in doubt after a power shuffle shook off the Office of National Intelligence. Much of the records were destroyed. I think something like 80% of the records were destroyed in 1972 when the criminals at the CIA ordered them incinerated, because they were, they have custody of them and they didn't want to leave any evidence of their crimes. When Director Richard Helms ordered its destruction when he learned that President Nixon was going to replace him. And so now further disclosure on the files is now in doubt, as the Daily Mail this is from the Daily Mail, has learned that it is not a top priority for Mr. Acting Director of National Intelligence, Mr. Palti. As you know, the whistleblower Erdman testified before Congress that 40 boxes had been retrieved from ODNI. It is my hope that this investigation that Representative Luna is carrying out includes ordering, doing a subpoena on CIA and ordering the return of those boxes under the custody of Congress. Mr. Palti has been cutting the size of ODNI, and he has fired already 50 career deep state intelligence officials. So I I hope he performs and does good things, even though he doesn't seem to be interested in exposing the MK Ultra files. It doesn't matter, because he was good for what we needed, which was shutting down FISA 702. For how many has your gang stalking go down? Please let me know in the comments if your gang stalking has gone down, because I believe that it has gone down for a lot of people. Anyway, we're doing it. This is absolutely amazing. Directed energy weapon. No, that's not it. Sorry, that's for the later. Directed energy weapons have gone mainstream. Not only that, but, and I think it's thanks to the persistence of the digital warriors, and particularly our beloved Dr. Len Bear. Guess what? Catherine Herridge is already speaking about civilians, victims. She's still obsessed with the Russian narrative, but now she's including the word civilians. And now she's coming around because she doesn't want to be embarrassed. She doesn't want to be embarrassed, and she's coming around to finally acknowledge that civilians are victims too. For the first time this week, she acknowledged that they are being attacked on U.S. soil, civilians. She had no choice. Newsday coverage, and she, I think that she did it because she is afraid that she's going to be humiliated.
Do you think that she maybe would have had a case?
Listen to this little piece of the interview where she acknowledges the attacks on civilians.
She had been hit by a directed energy weapon in her home that she experienced burns. And based on what you're telling me of people who are victims of this being told that they're crazy, there's nothing wrong with them, do you think that she maybe would have had a case?
Well, I think I would need to have more information inside of that investigation. But I think this idea that there aren't domestic attacks and that they haven't targeted civilians is just not correct. It's not borne out by the evidence. And again,
do you know how huge this is? This woman had refused to acknowledge civilian victims because it didn't fit the narrative. And now she's being forced to it. And we have to thank our beloved Dr. Len Bear for that, and the digital warriors. It's all coming out. So in this context, I want to bring to your attention that just today, Dr. Bear initiated an email campaign to the University of Pennsylvania, because there's this individual he's a professor there, and listen to what he's constantly humiliating and making, making very bad comments to victims of civilian victims. And he says Havana syndrome is not medically recognized. Well, he hasn't read Dr. Hoffer's papers and Dr. Bear's and everything that has come out of the DOD and the NIH regarding federal employees, because they're also in the narrative that only federal employees have it, right? But there is a Havana Act of 2021. What is he talking about? How can he say it's not medically recognized diagnosis when Congress recognized it? So Dr. Bear is doing an open letter asking regarding the stigmatizing remarks by a Professor Foster. And you have there, I'm going to give you here the link to Dr. Bear's, the X link to Dr. Bear's campaign. For those of you that want to join and want to write it, you just have to copy paste and send it to the people. The email addresses are there. I think that it's important to engage in this kind of activism because, so-called professors that are not believing the victims and treating them with disdain is not a good thing. The letter basically says, "Dear President and members of the leadership, we, the undersigned civilians, physicians, researchers, advocates, and concerned citizens write to express our deep concern regarding repeated public statements by Professor Emeritus Kenneth Foster of the Department of Bioengineering." And he says, basically, the universe, they have to have a little bit more compassion and diplomacy because this is an Ivy League. They're not supposed to act like Mr. Foster has been acting. Anyways, I think that, how, let's just switch here. You know how a few episodes ago I mentioned how I really believed that President Trump was being a victim of mind control. And the reason I believe that is because not only his hands and his ankles are swollen, like many of us know, that's one of the symptoms of when you're attacked with directed energy weapons, but most importantly, his 180-degree change on policies and things that, like, for example, FISA 702. He had in 2024 said, kill FISA. That's what they used to spy on me. And now he was pushing for a 3-year clean renewal of it. That just doesn't make sense. And I really thought, well, he was being controlled. Well, now the tables have turned. For those of you that have seen Dom's documentary Dystopia, you'll see what I'm talking about. But what really matters is that the exposure of the technology is happening. So my mom used to use a lot of proverbs, and one of her favorite ones was El ladrón juzga por su condición, which literally translated says, the thief judges by his own condition. The dishonest thief assumes that others are as dishonest as him. So this video just came out today, and I want to share it with you. I'm not going to share the whole video, but this is the new theory, and that is, this guy has 450,000 followers on X. Listen to him.
By Iran through low frequency.
Hold on. Let me just start it there.
So I don't know if you guys have heard the latest, but Israeli TV, these are the TV hosts, are now claiming that Trump is being controlled by Iran through low frequency brainwave manipulation devices. That they're somehow targeting Trump wherever he's at, somehow, with these low frequency devices. And it only makes you think and wonder, well, maybe Israel has some type of these devices. Maybe Mossad and all of these corrupt politicians aren't really just bought off, paid off, or blackmailed. Maybe there's some other type of devices that they are able to use to manipulate and control the way that these politicians act. Let me know what you guys think. Check this one out.
So I'm not going to play the whole thing. But the interesting thing is this has gone mainstream. Mind control with electromagnetic waves. And this guy has tons of 450,000. And yeah, when you think of the United States, it's 300 million. But the important thing is that this kind of content you would not have seen a year ago. And it's happening, and it's happening thanks to the work that all of you have been doing, which I urge you to not stop. So it's no longer fantastical that you can use electromagnetic frequencies to manipulate a mind, to do mind control on somebody. Anyway, so I think remember, we're here documenting history. This goes all towards our goal of exposing this illegal program and how it's no longer plausibly deniable when mainstream people or alternative content people are talking about it. Anyways, the next one, the criminal, John Bolton. He pled guilty. This one is good because he pled guilty to mishandling classified information, not to inform the public, but to profit off a book. He got a $2.225 million in fine. He faces up to 5 years in prison, and he gave up his pension. And this is the guy that went in all sorts of news programs talking about the Mar-a-Lago, how Trump had perpetrated such horrible crimes in the Mar-a-Lago situation. And let me just show you what the district attorney said about him. And I think it's very sad for somebody his age to spend.
This morning, just moments ago, John Robert Bolton II pled guilty in federal court to the unlawful retention of national defense information. According to the terms of the plea agreement, Mr. Bolton faces a maximum sentence of up to 5 years in prison, followed by a term of up to 3 years of supervised release. He will also pay a fine of $2.25 million and will forfeit his pension under the HIS Act. As National Security Advisor to the President of the United States, Mr. Bolton had access to and was responsible for safeguarding the most sensitive national defense information, including classified material.
I had told you, I think it was last week, that it was this criminal who, under George Bush Jr., withdrew the United States from the treaty that was signed. Originally was under Bill Clinton, but it was not ratified under Bush Jr., including the United States as part of the International Court of International Crimes of Justice. Why? Because he knew of this little program, and he knew that the United States would be held, that there would be a Nuremberg 2.0, and the United States would be held convicted for crimes against humanity. So then they said, no, we're not going to sign. See, one of the things I learned when I was in law school is when somebody pleads guilty, obviously they're trying to avoid the risk of a greater sentence. But when somebody gets accused of a crime, usually they have committed tons of crimes before, but this one is, like I had seen it in all the cases that I worked for. I used to work for, believe it or not, for the U.S. Marshals. I used to do, I was a notary. And by the time they accused somebody, they had to be doing surveillance on them for so many years for the case to be solid. And they only accused them of a few crimes, not all of the crimes they perpetrated, because that's when they get sloppy. Anyway, so maybe that's what happened here. He once called for this man called for Edward Snowden's execution. He even fantasized how saying Snowden ought to swing from a tall oak tree, this criminal here. I hope this is not the last of arrests against the deep state. There are currently two separate grand juries in South Florida are collecting and hearing evidence in what could become a series of conspiracy cases brought against the people who served in the highest reaches of government, including former CIA Director John Brennan, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, and former FBI Director James Comey. I personally wish that they looked into the actions of Christopher Wray, lying to Congress, saying that there was no FBI on January 6th in the crowd. Now, this one it's really close to my heart, because even though this is a J6er, what's happening is that normies and people are waking up. Look at this. This was a post today. He says, this whole time our government and media have gaslit us into believing this group or that group were the terrorist, when they themselves were the actual terrorist. MK Ultra in full effect. This is not any of people from our community. He's a J6er, and the story of this man is so horrible that he has a lot of interest in this, right? But he connected the dots. It's the CIA criminals and the MK Ultra that never ended. And this, I just wish I could convey to you how incredibly amazing this is. It's out in the open. Criminals, you have nowhere to run, except maybe you can still go to Argentina, which, by the way, I don't know if you knew, Peter Thiel, for some reason that nobody knows, moved to Argentina. Maybe there are things happening in the background that made him move there. Now, speaking of normies, even non-TIs, everybody's teaming up against flock cameras. People are waking up regarding the importance of the Fourth Amendment. They are becoming irate about it and becoming defending it tooth and nail. So the flock company CEO, listen to him calling people that are anti-camera activists, just like that they are calling terrorists the people that are against all these data centers. Oh well, listen to this man, how he declares that people that are anti-camera, having every single aspect of their life recorded, that they are terrorists, because he just is clueless about what the Fourth Amendment says.
Stop it expanding. And then unfortunately there's terroristic organizations.
Hold on. Let me just start it there.
This is terrifying. According to the CEO of Flock, if you even try to map where his cameras are in your city, you're a terrorist.
There's an organization called DFlock, who are semi-well known now, I guess, if you're interested in this stuff, who take a fairly aggressive approach in terms of counting the number of cameras and having a Discord channel where they talk about potential activities to move against Flock and stop it expanding. And then unfortunately there's terroristic organizations like DFlock, whose primary motivation is chaos. They are closer to Antifa than they are anything else.
See, in my opinion, he looks like a little like a sociopath. But that's my opinion. It's not a fact. It's my opinion, because I have met my share of sociopaths in my life, so I can identify them. Anyways, so these cameras, I was reading that they are not just reading the license plate. They're interacting with all Bluetooth devices. If any of you has, I would toss it, those Apple Watches that have everything about your life and your pulse and everything. And they interact with Bluetooth devices and the Bluetooth device in your car. And I mean, it's just, the intrusion is huge. And it's just because it's a private company doesn't mean it's not a violation of Fourth Amendment, because they are collecting data, harvesting data, and as many of you know, they are selling it through data brokers to the FBI criminals. So they follow movement across entire cities. And the good part about this abuse is that normies are getting irate about it, and they're doing something about it. So the fight for the Fourth Amendment is not just being carried out by this community victim of government weaponization, but by normies as well. And this is a good thing. It's a good thing because they're getting educated about civics, which maybe a lot of these younger generations have no clue what the Fourth Amendment is. I think that's a great thing that's happening. Now, the FISA 702 does not seem to be going anywhere. I'm just going to mention this to you because I think that it was a triumph that it didn't get renewed. But the Hill reports that the FISA negotiations are at a standstill after Clayton, who is the nominee for ODNI hearing, was delayed. As I told you, it was delayed because Trump said, no. Until you confirm his successor, you're not going to confirm him as ODNI. And besides, he needs Pulte to kick out all the people he wants to kick out from the intelligence community. So the fate of the legislation to revive the government's warrantless spying powers remains murky after President Trump last week called for a Senate Intelligence Committee nomination, a hearing for Jay Clayton, to be postponed. So Section 702, that allows the government to spy on all of us, expired on June 12th, as you know. And it's very unlikely, if they're not even getting, because one of the things that they were trying to do was pass the Save America Act, which is requiring proof of citizenship and ID for voting, tied it to the FISA. If you give us this, we'll give you this. But Senator Thune is not going anywhere with the Save America Act. So I don't think FISA is going anywhere. And that is good news for us, that FISA is, because the longer it's dead, the longer it'll be proven that it was not used to stop an act of terrorism. Because if it's not, of course, there is a March 2026 opinion from the FISA court supposedly extending it. But it is my experience that I think some of these tech companies are scared because their liability, now they're not covered from these warrantless surveillance. Now, going on to this I think it's hilarious. Todd Blanche, who wants to get confirmed as Secretary of, as Attorney General, he admits that he's violating the law. Yeah. Politico reported that the Justice Department has effectively conceded it is violating the law that Congress passed last November, requiring the public release of the vast majority of records relating to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. U.S. Judge Emmett Sullivan said that Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche admitted the violations by failing to address allegations from independent journalist Kate Fang in a lawsuit seeking broader access to the records. This is what the court said. The Attorney General does not respond substantively to any of these arguments, Sullivan, an appointee of Bill Clinton, wrote in the opinion. The Attorney General has conceded that he is in violation of the act. Sullivan also issued a preliminary injunction that gives Blanche a week to release certain names and other information redacted by DOJ from the millions of pages of the Epstein files, or provide a more detailed explanation for withholding them. Now, you need to remember that the most important documents, in my very humble opinion, that were withheld are the 25,000 documents from 1999 to 2001 that very likely prove that 9/11 was a false flag to, among other things, create the police state and create this criminal program that many of us have been victims of. Now, that it's, more shall be revealed, but I certainly, those documents need to be exposed. Okay, before going to the announcements, I have to show you this because this is so hilarious. Many of us have the problem that the criminals like to put mice. They like to put mice in our houses, right? I just recently, last week, I was able to successfully get rid of a very fat little mouse that was that had invaded my living quarters. And I saw this today, and before I go into the announcements that please do not go away because you need to listen to them, I just wanted to show this to you because it's just so hilarious. And I'm thinking, could this be a TI? Could this be a TI? Listen to this. So the guy is shooting a mouse in his kitchen. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe he has been so frustrated trying to get rid of the mouse, because I was for the longest time trying to get rid of the mouse here. And finally, the perfect cheese did it. And so anyways, fortunately, I had somebody that helped me because I'm incapable of dealing with that situation. Anyways, we need you to show up, as I said, July the 30th. And you get to meet Dominic. He's going to be there. You get to meet me. I'm going to be there. And you get to make a stance that MK Ultra never ended. So take your day off, do whatever it takes, but make it there to the Rayburn building at 10 a.m. But try to come in early if you want to get into the hearing room. Now, I want to mention that there's some fraudsters that want to steal your money, and they continue to illegally impersonate a targeted justice, and you should be aware of it. And thanks to the person that brought this. This person has a fake Telegram channel. We don't have, Targeted Justice does not have a Telegram channel. Please spread this information. We do not ask for money to take away your B2K or to help you. No. We ask for donations for the work we do. You know, everything we do, believe it or not, from the translations to the flyers to me being here, costs money. But it's a voluntary donation. But what these people are trying to tell you are scamming you, that they can take your targeting away, or they can take you off the list, or take your B2K away from you. It's a lie. So don't fall for it. The same with the fake. Look at them. I sent. I haven't sent Telegram a letter, but I sent it to TikTok. They have not paid attention, and I sent it to Facebook. It seems that Facebook did pay attention because this guy was in Facebook scamming people. So please be very aware of it. I know. Look, I get a lot of calls from people. Please help me. I cannot just help one person. My day is full. You have no idea. My day is full working for everyone. I cannot, first of all, I'm not admitted except for just in Southern District of Texas and in Puerto Rico. Number two, if I dedicate myself to one person, that means I have to neglect 6 million people. I'm not going to do that. So please understand. And number two, I don't know of any other attorney. Well, actually, I heard that there's 2 in California, but I don't personally know them. And they're probably limited to practicing in California. But I don't know of any other attorney that is willing to risk, because the moment an attorney starts helping TIs, that's what happens. They get targeted. Fortunately for me, I'm already targeted. So they can only hurt me a little bit more than they already do. So please don't fall for it, and understand that the best way you can help yourself is, number one, reading Targeted Justice newsletter, reading the Targeted Justice website. Information is power. Once you know how it works, you know how to secure your doors and windows. You know how to fight back. That is what the criminals were not expecting. I already shared the link. I'm going to share it again for those of you that didn't see it, to the Printify store. Order your MK Ultra. Become a walking sign. Let the world know MK Ultra never ended, and carry with you the flyers so that you can educate people. There's tons of them. I'm going to be uploading the new flyer that you just saw for a congressman that we're going to be distributing. This new flyer, I'm going to upload it to the Targeted Justice website. Okay, download it. And the good thing about this one is that you can also take it to your local, your state legislators, and tell them the FBI, the Fusion Center, what they're doing is going after these innocent people. Okay. Now, if you haven't sent your Privacy Act request, I urge you to do so. I included Jill TJ at proton.me. She's a professional editor. She's also on an advisory board, but she professionally can help you as an editor to draft your Privacy Act request and your appeals. The criminals are going crazy, gaslighting, saying that, and she knows all the replies, because we have been, I constantly tell her about, this cannot be because of this and this and this. Particularly, the law doesn't give, like DHS now is answering, oh, tell me in what division of my department do I have to look for your information? And the reply is very simple. Can you go read the Privacy Act and tell me where does it say in there that the requester has an obligation to tell you in which department of your agency that nobody knows what they are, including the SCIF that's Kristi Noem denounced, she found, and then there hasn't been any more news about that. Okay, so, and then I want to repeat for those of you that are victims of lawfare, this is a legitimate outfit that they are doing a Justice Without Limits. The way we are going to eliminate judges that are crooked and that cater to the criminals is by reporting the lawfare they perpetrate. So document your lawfare to these people here. I just shared the link. This is grassroots organizing at its very best. And Jill vetted it, and she said, you know, these are legit people. Okay. Now, that's all for now. I am so excited because this next coming week is going to be genuinely amazing for all of us. I thank you. I am honored, and I thank all of you that have made it possible for me to be here in DC. It makes a huge difference. I'm going to be pushing for both Dr. Juliet Engel and for very much respected Kathy O'Brien to go testify before the Oversight Committee. And there's a lot of things that we're doing that but for me being here, I would not be able to do. So I am honored and grateful to all of you that have made it possible for me to be here. Let me just check your comments. Thank you, everyone. Somebody was saying about they don't. If you read Targeted Justice, you will learn that they don't need an implant to track you. They track you through the top of your head, and you can get a Gauss meter to prove that. So, you know, many of you don't, like, sometimes we don't appreciate the things we have. And I speak for myself too, except that when I became targeted, I started appreciating things more. I started appreciating friends more, and appreciate having a roof over my head more, because before I used to take it for granted. And I just want this community to understand how fortunate, how lucky we are that we have Dr. Len Bear, who is a medical expert, he's so knowledgeable, and he's such a warrior. And despite his torture, he continues to fight back. And also to the Lighthouse, to Richard. Richard has met thousands of TIs. Not a single one is an engineer like he is, with a master's of mechanical engineering from Stanford University. The reason I tell you this is because we're very fortunate to have on our side these two professionals that can testify on behalf of this community. And that is a privilege because, as you know, not many professionals, not many doctors are willing to put their hand on the fire for this community. So today, I want you to all be grateful for this. Those of you that want, of course, to be grateful, because we are in a really good path and we have a really good team to accomplish our goal of freedom for all. So God bless you all, and thank you for being here. I hope to have you. You cannot miss next week, because I'm going to have a recap of the entire week. So do not miss it, and have a good night.